How's it going? My name's MKid75, or Jimmy, whatever you decide to call me. Welcome back to Destiny 2. Yes, Destiny 2. Yes, the expansion that's dropping in less than 11 hours. As of right now, it's 2:01 in the morning. And my smart intuition decided, hey, let's create a really quick expectations video because I haven't done that yet. Alrighty. So as you guys know, I'm going to be jumping back into Destiny 2 for a bit to play the Warmind DLC. Again, coming out in less than 11 hours. And I just wanted to give you guys, yet again to reiterate a point, my expectations for this DLC that haven't already been covered by Bungie reveals and major YouTubers and people that went to the Destiny Summit to cover content. If you guys want to do some background research into that, by all means, go check out Data Does Destiny, MTashed, and all those guys, Broman, who've went to the summit, talked about stuff. You can go back and read the Bungie weekly updates about where shit went wrong and this, that, and the other thing. That's all this video is about. Alright? So this video is about my expectations and what I hope comes from Warmind. Right. So let's get to this. So the number one thing that I want from Warmind, or not the number one thing, the first thing on my list that I thought of like 5 minutes ago was I need trophies and achievements. Grade weapon. Legend of Acuris was a good start. You know, but I'd like to see more of a lore-guided raid weapon. You know, something that I would have to go out of my way to find certain fragments, ghost shells, Warmind clusters, whatever it may be. And then once I have enough of them, I can go into the Warmind itself and be like, hey, Rasputin, I have this. What now? Go complete raid. Okay, I'll go complete raid. You know, you do certain challenges in the encounters, and you get pieces of the gun. Gun then transmits into, okay, Guardian, you did this, this, and this. Next step is do another difficult-ass task. Defeat the raid boss within a given amount of time, with only a specific weapon. Right? Maybe it's the legendary version of the exotic. I don't know. Just throwing some beans out there. Maybe the sleeper simulant will be the raid weapon. I don't know. Next thing on my list is that I want a story that has no continuity errors. Curse of Osiris was written by continuity errors. Oh my good lord. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the Google is there. However, just to make a long story short, Bungie decided to create comics. They decided to make canon to lore, but the comics absolutely contradicted the lore so much. So much. It's a conversation for another day. Long story short, I don't want that to happen in Warmind. Warmind is the premise. Yes, the very premise of Destiny, the story of Destiny. We're going back to visit the Bray family. You know, on Mars. We're gonna see where the Golden Age all started. You know, I need exact timeline of events. I need all sorts of goodies with the lore. I don't want to see flip-floppy answers like Clovis Bray actually did this, or the Exos actually weren't made in the Warmind, haha, tricked you. No, I need Warminds made, Exos made here. We did stuff there, you know? Exact details of events, beginning, middle, end, plot. No continuity errors. Please, Bungie, no continuity errors. Next on my list, I'd like a linear story that has a clear one objective. So if you guys don't know what a linear objective is, or what anything linear is, I'm going to show you really quickly. So imagine this is your y-axis and your x-axis on a graph, right? We're going to start at 0, 0. That's linear, right? It's not parabolic. It's not, or exponent, and it's not, and it's not exponential. You know, it doesn't take curves and tangents and all this other bullshit. It's one straight line that derives from one clear objective. So if we're learning about the stories of the Bray, let's help Anna Bray uncover her past. If it's defeat Joel, then let's learn a lot about the Brays. However, let's make the clear objective, hey, Joel's the main bad guy here. He's the worm god that we have to defeat. Let's build a story upon defeating Joel. Destiny 2 has been written by tangents. Lots of story tangents. And that's been a reoccurring theme with Destiny as a whole. There isn't a clear story objective. An unfair example is the base game story of Destiny, which was basically an introduction to the franchise, so to speak. So we start off on Earth. We're introduced to the Fallen, right? So okay, so we got somewhat of a clear objective. We really don't know what's going on in Destiny 1. And then we go to the moon, because there's something there that we need. Okay, so still on a linear tangent because the Fallen are still there. Then we are introduced to the Hive in Mission 6. Alright, so now we've got a bit of a tangent coming here. Right, you can see where the deviations start. Then there's the Exo Stranger, another tangent. During Mission 6 was Crota, so at a tangent. Exo Stranger, tangent. We don't know what the Hive are. We go down into the crypts. They tell us of a place on Venus that can help us out. Cool. That's the Fallen are there. So we kind of go back onto the same story plot. Okay, something's up with the Fallen. But we go into the archives in Venus and we learn about the Vault of Glass. Oh shit. Well, that's a major you see what I'm getting here? Destiny 2 kind of does the same thing with its story. So we start off, we get invaded by the Cabal, so that's pretty much a major outline, right? Our main story objective was to defeat the Cabal and reclaim the city. That much was made clear. However, the story did take deviations along the way, right? So, a deviation was, okay, let's go reclaim our city. But hold on, we gotta go rescue Zavala and restore his confidence, give him his balls back. Okay. Well, Zavala grows a pair of balls. Cool. We're kind of getting back on that same story. Oh, wait, did I mention that Cade is on Nessus? Okay. So we gotta go rescue Cade from Failsafe and the Vex. All the while learning lore and story. Cool. Well, that's another deviation. Alright, so we get Cade back. We give Cade back his brain, so to speak. Alright, so now we're back on the same path of, hey, let's go defeat Gaul. Oh, wait, Ikora is MIA on Io because she feels lost and needs her blanket to feel comfortable again. Alright, so let's go to Io. Oh. Okay, so here we are on Io. Cool. We rescued Ikora. Okay, so all this deviation finally leads to the resolution of the story where we defeat generic story boss Gaul, and the rising action, the final battle, was good. The ending of the final battle sucked balls. But it still led to the overall conclusion that we retook the city, okay? Cool. We reached that goal. But along the way, we had deviations in the story. We had tangents. This is something that I don't want to see in Warmind. You know, it's good to have side missions that do this. So, let's take, for example, what Brother Vance gives you. He gives us the heroic patrol missions.
You don't have Sagira with you? Disappointing. I have so many questions for her. And she
right, the heroic story missions that take you into the Infinite Forest and give you more and more lore and backstory, but that doesn't affect the overall campaign. However, Curse of Osiris had its tangencies and complications too. That's a different discussion for another day. Warmind, I just want to see one line objective. All the little tangencies should not be connected to the same line. That's where I'm getting at this. Okay? Okay. Moving on. Events in Season 3 that I'd like to see. I'd like to see SRL come back. I'd like to see Festival of the Lost come back. But with Festival of the Lost, I want to see it improved. I don't want to see a microtransaction festival. When the Dawning comes back, I don't want to see a microtransaction festival. I want to see some lore given in it. You know, I want to see some more backstories. Some things that Destiny 1 did right with that was that, hey, it gave you stuff that was kind of nifty to learn about the lore, albeit it wasn't necessarily necessary lore. It was still cool because it gave you the backstory of the Destiny universe. I'm sorry if you're not a fan of the lore, but the lore is pretty huge, in my opinion. And that's kind of what gives the players somewhat of a want to play. They want to learn more about this universe, you know? The Golden Age starts pretty much right where we're at in time. But between where we're at in time to 2714, right? Because Destiny takes 700 years into the future. 2714 to 2718, whatever your timeline wants to be. Right? But what happened? You know, the collapse. The in the Golden Age, like, what was the leaps that humanity make, and how fast did they made them? We know some of the leaps, but we don't know all the leaps. We don't know, you know, how we got to Mars, right? Okay, so Mars. But in between Mars and, let's say, the collapse, we only know so much, and that's Clovis Bray and the Traveler coming. I want to know, you know, okay, so what about civilization as we know it today? What did we do about geopolitical issues like global warming? Or during the Golden Age, did humanity find peace in itself? And did it stop all wars immediately? You know, what kind of technology was used? That's some of the stuff that intrigues me. It might be getting too in depth, but it's just something that has always itched my curiosity about this game or series. Replayability. I cannot stress this enough. Replayability, Bungie. Replayability in Warmind. I loved Destiny 1 because I was able to jump back into a story and find ghost fragments or find clues, you know, to unlock certain bits of lore that I may have otherwise missed. In Destiny 2, you don't get that option unless you do the 3 meditations, which are on a weekly rotation. 2 of which give you the main story, 1 of which gives you an expansion story. I want to replay whatever story mission that I want to play, and I want to revisit it. You know, maybe I want to take my time with it. Maybe I want to rush through it. Maybe I want to do a speed run of it. It's just something that should have really been a no-brainer to add into the game. But it's not here now. Hopefully they'll add it in Warmind. No repeat strike story missions. Or recut strikes. Curse of Osiris. Okay, Curse of Osiris was bad about this. Every strike in Curse of Osiris was a recut story mission. Or it was a story mission. It was just a more difficult iteration of a story mission. And that's simply stupid. That's horrible. That should not be allowed in any developer's mind. That's lazy writing. Warmind needs to have new story missions that give the player a sense of mystery, a dark mystery, a sense of lore, and a sense of, oh my god, this is cool, I want to do it again. You know, and bosses. Some of these bosses should have their own cinematic theme score. Sepix Prime, let's take, for example. Yes, the big eyeball sponge teleporting guy from Destiny. He was one of the only bosses in that game to have his own theme, but his strike was super cool. We could take another strike. We could take from the Taken King. For example, we could take the Bond Brothers strike. That strike was freaking cool. Not only did it take you through the Dreadnought, but there were scannables that you could get. Yeah, granted, you could get them on patrol. But it also gave you tidbits of lore while doing the strike about what the Cabal's actions were when they crashed the beachhead into the Dreadnought. That's something that I found really cool. In Destiny 2, we have Savathun's Song. Savathun's Song is huge to the Destiny lore because it gives us more information about Savathun herself. It also gives us insight on the Hive and how they capture Guardian's Light to make Void Light. They seal them up in crystals and they become Void Light. Which is like, how do they do it though? How do the Hive do this? You know, it gives me a sense of mystery. And I guess that's what I'm looking for in Destiny 2's Warmind, and Destiny 2 overall. I want, and speaking of lore and mystery, I want clairvoyant lure, but I also want dark and mysterious immersion. So in Destiny 1 take, for example, we got the Books of Sorrow, or the Book of Sorrow. Had multiple chapters to it, but each chapter was dark. It was mysterious. It wanted you to keep finding the calcified fragments to read on. It told the story of Oryx, Savathun, and Shibu Arath, the three sisters, or brothers, sister. The three sisters, before Oryx became a male hive entity. But it was really cool because it gave you backstory on the Hive. It gave you what the Hive were. And how the Hive became really the Hive. How Oryx came into power. How Savathun is coming into power. And Shibu Arath, Destiny 3, how that will be iterated. Books of Sorrow. I'd like to see the Books of Sorrow extremely expanded in Warmind. Not only because Warmind only holds, you know, the core of Destiny, but it also has Hive in it. It has Joel, Oryx's worm god. That's huge, guys. That's humongous. I want to know, you know, what the fuck? How did Joel get there, you know? Did Oryx decide to say, hey, Joel, go to Mars, you know? Go find Rasputin. That's something that I'd like to know. That is something that I would love to know. I want to know Not only, hey, we have Joel, but what about Sabathoon's worm? What about Shivu Arath's worm? What about the other hive worm gods? This is all something that I'd like further explained. And granted, there doesn't have to necessarily be a grimoire, a third-party site. I hope to God there's not. But in between clan and character, there's been suggestions of a lure tab. In that lure tab, I want all the weapons and all the gear that I have, all the collectibles that I found, and all the obtainable exotic loot that has, you know, lure tabs on them, to be found within that lure tab. For exotics, I want to know, maybe I'm new to the game, maybe I want to know about the hive. Well, hell, I don't have a story of the hive. Wait a second. If I defeat the hive, I'll get a lure card or a lure tablet that pops up on my screen, and I can go to the lure tab and I can be like, oh, hey, look at that. That's what the hive are. Next up on my list. The patrol zones need to be vast, immersive. It needs to be able to be traversed via sparrows and able to create a sense of wonder. Alright, this is why I'm on Mercury. See this? Okay, can't summon the sparrow. I have to wait for a Cabal... shit, what's it called? One of the Cabal land speeders to come around to even have a chance at having a vehicle. Alright? Mercury is good for screenshots, but it doesn't create the wanderlust that I'm looking for. Right? And speak of the devil, there's a vehicle in there. And here's why. This thing right here. The entrance, the infinite forest, or the finite gate load zone. This is locked up on patrol. I can't visit it. I can't go into it. I can't... You know, I want to be able to go in there without activating a fucking patrol mission. And I guess that's the one thing that bothered me the most about Curse of Osiris, is that I couldn't go deep into the Vex network, deep into the past, deep into the future. You know, an alternative now would have been cool. And that's what took away a lot from this patrol area. Other than the fact that it has one public event, one zone right here, in three patrol missions, plus the adventures. That's not wonder, that's lazy. That's boring. Earth has more sense of wonder than Mars. Mars, right now, as it stands, is a glorified SRL map without being able to use sparrows. That's all I see Mars as. Not Mercury, I'm sorry. Correction, Mercury. With Mars, I want to see that same sense of wonder that I got on the moon back in Destiny 1. Yes, the moon was my favorite area in Destiny 1. Why? Because I went down into the Hellmouth almost on a daily, because I was interested to see if I could because I was traveling the Circle of Bones into the Hellmouth, into the Gateway, Crota's Gateway, whatever the hell that was called, on the daily. Because I was trying to find stuff that, you know, I haven't necessarily seen before, or I loved getting lost down there. You know, I loved finding new places to go, even if I've already traveled them. Here on Mercury, it's just bland. It's boring. Same thing with Io. Io's like Mercury, bland, boring, but you actually got sparrows, and it's bigger. With Mars, it should be better than the Destiny 1 Mars. Destiny 1 Mars had two zones with nothing in it but with a ghost. And that was the area between Firebase Rubicon and the area after oh shit, what was that? The gas station area, I forget its name. You know, stuff like that bothers me. I want to be able to be immersed in my world. I don't want to, you know, come into the Destiny world and be like, oh, this is just another zone. Cool. Oh, it's got a ghost fragment. Okay. No. I want a sense of, oh my god, this is kind of cool. This is what's in this area. And I think Destiny 2 did a good job at that somewhat, but it could definitely be improved. On the topic of exotics, I'm glad that Suros Regime is making a comeback. That's a fun thing. But I also want to see some really cheesy exotics like Pocket Infinity. It doesn't necessarily have to be Pocket Infinity, but you know, I want a really bad exotic to be in the game, but really fun to use. Pocket Infinity had to be my favorite really bad exotic, but it was really fun to use. It wasn't Dreg's Promise. It wasn't anything like that. It was its own gun that, you know, you killed an enemy, you got infinite ammo out of. And while that may seem OP, the gun's damage output was just actually ass. Still fun to use. I would like to see Icebreaker return in Warmind. Let me tell you why. Ice caps are melting. Let's take a moment and break the ice. Maybe while the ice cap's melting, you could activate something, then, oh my god, you start the quest line for Icebreaker. Icebreaker's quest line, so to speak, when it returned to Rise of Iron was terrible. That gun deserves more lore and backstory than Gallarhorn did. You know, Gallarhorn, yeah, Twilight Gap, yeah, everybody's favorite exotic, great exotic, woohoo. In Destiny 1, yay. But Icebreaker. Icebreaker, man. That gun was that gun had multiple prototypes of itself, but made by the Vanguard to replicate ammunition. However, only one made it out of the testing phase. Only one. And that was Icebreaker itself. You know, I'd like to see Icebreaker make a return. Maybe it's a different variation of Icebreaker. Maybe it doesn't have no backpack, but maybe every kill you get triggers a perk that grants 1 bullet of ammo regeneration over 6 seconds. But it still has that Icebreaker perk of you shoot shit, it explodes. That's what made Icebreaker so fun for me. It wasn't the no backpack rule, it was, oh my god, I can explode multiple shit at a time and it does this massive area effect damage that, you know, Gallarhorn couldn't necessarily do without blowing you sky high. Or that a gun that had Firefly couldn't necessarily do if you didn't have a headshot. It's just guns like that that made Destiny 1 Destiny 1. Or Destiny. Anyway, guys, these have been my quick thoughts and expectations for Warmind post-summit, post-everything. You know, about 10 hours till release. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my little bit of a video here. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in Warmind. Adios.